Okay, let's create the last part. So let's create another index.html. So let's create a folder. Let me close everything up here like this folder, and this is going to be called contact like this. We can actually copy everything over from the projects index.html. So let's go to the projects index.html, copy everything over and paste it here in the contact. So index.html and paste. Okay, so here we can remove the section. Okay, we can keep the header, that's fine. Now let's update these navigation links. So in the contact, what I want to do is on the contact, we want to be in the same directory, so index.html. I also want to remove the class of active and move it to this one. On the projects, we want to move back to /projects. And here we want to move back to index.html. So that's good. Now let's update the other ones. Let's go to the projects. Here, this is good, but this one is not good. So here we can do contact. Save. Now let's go to the index, so the home page, and here we can do contact. Okay, now let's try to navigate and hopefully everything works fine. Yes, yes, and yes. Perfect. Wonderful. Okay, so let's create the contact page. Again, this is going to be very simple, just a super simple form. So let's go back here, head all the way down here, and I'm going to create a form section. So let's close everything up. This is too confusing. Contact in here. Okay, so after the header, we go down here. We're just going to create a section called form section. And in here, all I want to have is a form. The action you can add again, that form that I showed you with FormSpree. Here I'm just going to have a label for name. This is going to be called name. And then a few inputs. So let's do an input, type text, which is going to have a name of name, a ID of name, and a required. We're going to create another one for email. Input is going to be email. The name is going to be email, or email if you want. And then we're going to have an ID of email and also required. Okay, almost done. Hold your breath. Label, don't actually hold your breath. Okay. For this is going to be message. So if anybody wants to leave a message, they can. So there we go. Text area. And this is going to be for message. ID is going to be message. And we're going to leave everything else by default here. Finally, a button with submit and a type of submit. Okay, save. And you know what? We can actually create a footer too. So let's do that down here, and you can actually copy paste this over to the other pages as well. But let's create it here for now. Footer, okay, H4, this is gonna be dev ed, and I'm gonna add a copyright symbol. If I can find it, copy 2019. Okay, and then just a UL with an LI of a tag. This can navigate again to your profile. And in here, I'm just going to drop in an image with icons, and let's get Twitter. And this is going to be Twitter social. And then we can copy paste this 2 more times, 1, 2. And we can replace this with Instagram and maybe YouTube. That's fine. And change this to Instagram and YouTube. Okay, save. And that's it. That's all we have. Let's take a look here. Contact, and perfect. Looking good. It looks terrible, but we're gonna fix it. Okay, so let's create a contact.sass. So underscore contact.scss. Okay, Let's link it before we forget, because then it's not working again. So let's go all the way up here and we're gonna say import contact. Okay, close this up. And now we can start styling everything here. So again, it's not gonna be much, but it's gonna look fine. We're gonna grab the form section. We're gonna add a minimum height to this. Let's do 80 VH. Okay, let's also include a flex. I'm gonna center, and row. So what we're basically centering right now is the actual form. That's why we wrapped it around it like this. So I can add a bit of styling to the form. I want this to be centered and styled. Okay. So next up, let's add a margin top so it's not stuck all the way up there. 3 rem. And now we can grab the form. So let's grab it in here. It's fine because we're not gonna really modify anything here. I'm gonna add a padding of 3 rem and 10 rem. And you're gonna see what this is basically. Let's add a box shadow of 0 pixels, 10 pixels, and 10 pixels. And we can use RGBA, hit enter, and it's automatically gonna give me the color here and the alpha. So I'm gonna leave this as default and I'm gonna change this to 0.2. Hit save. Okay, so this is the actual thing that we added a box shadow to. This is the form. That's why we added a padding and a padding, and this is what we text aligned, display flexed center here. Okay, but I don't want this to be in this direction, so we can also add a flex to this. So let's do a flex, include, flex, center, and column. There we go. Much better. I also don't want this here, so we're gonna move that around as well. Let me make sure that I didn't add this footer. See, okay, I actually added the footer inside this section. So let's move it out, because I was wondering why this is in there. So let's move it out. Okay, so that's what I want. Perfect. Okay, so let's move back here to the contact CSS, and let's also add another box shadow to make this look a bit prettier, comma, and I'm just gonna say 0 pixels, 20 pixels, 40 pixel is gonna be the radius of the blur, and then RGBA again, that's 0, that's fine, and 0.2 again. Okay, make it more obvious. Let's also add a border radius to this, make those corners a bit rounder, 2 rem. Okay, that's good, I'm happy. Let's also grab the inputs, give them a bit of space, and the text areas. Text, I'm not messing up this time. Text area. Just a bit of margin, 2 rem. And you know, on focus, we can also add a style on this. Add focus, we can just do an outline of 2 pixels solid black. Okay, save. Okay, so it's more spaced out, and when we tab over it, it's obvious which one we are on top. Okay, so you're gonna see something weird though, like this looks good, but here the text is too small. So we can actually modify that and apply the font family on it as well, because it's not applied on it. So let's go outside of this text area. So we can click on the wiggly line so we can see where we are, and outside here, so in between these, we can keep going. We can do text area. We can do font family of Montserrat. Okay, and we can do sans serif. Let's also increase the font size to 2 rem. So now you're going to see that the text in here is actually larger and it looks better. Okay, and lastly, let's make that button not look ugly. Oh my goodness. Let's increase the width of it to 100%. All right, make it stretch all the way. Let's add a padding of 2 rem to it and a background color of, hey, we actually get to use the background color variable here. So let's do that. There we go. Let's change the color to white because we cannot see, the contrast is terrible. There we go, and maybe on focus. So at and symbol and focus, we can just change the background. Blue. My eyes, no, not good. Let's do something else here, something more discrete. Yeah, something like that. Okay, well, we can kind of see that that is selected. Maybe it's a bit brighter. The contrast is poor though, so you want to make sure the maybe we can just mess around and change the color a bit. So go like greenish. There we go, because I don't want to mess around with the contrast too much. There we go. That's kind of it. We kind of finished the whole thing. Congratulations, good job. I'm proud of you. Here's the cool thing though. If we resize this, the form is also going to resize. So if they want bigger, they can have more space. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay. Let's make sure this doesn't look terrible on mobile. Yeah, it's gonna be fine. What we can do is maybe on mobile, we can add a width of 100% to the form, and then it's gonna be fine. So let's go to style.css all the way down here. Let's grab the form. I'm gonna do padding. Let's get rid of the padding 0 and width 100%. Okay, there we go. So we can do that as well. So it kind of gets stuck there. Okay, lovely. Let's get finished with the form. The form? We did the form, Ed. Oh my God, you're tired, aren't you? You haven't slept tonight. Yes, that's correct. Right, but we move on. So let's do a style.footer. Underscore footer.scss. This is gonna be pum para pim para boom, which means fast. Okay, so footer, background, and here we're gonna say background color. Then add a color of white so we can see everything. Let's do a min height of like 10 VH. And let's do a small padding, 0%, 5%. And I'm giving 5% here just so basically the text aligns here and with everything else. Oh, but it's not working yet, so make sure you go back and import it here before we mess it up. Import footer. Okay, there we go. And now you guessed it, all we need to do is inside here, we just need to add a include flex. And we can do flex start, center, and row. Okay, good. Now we can add a flex one to the UL and the other one. UL. Let's grab the H4 too. Let's do a flex 140 rem. And this one 140 rem. Save. Good. And now we can just add a display flex to this again. We can copy paste because we're lazy, and we can just change this to space around. Okay, round D, ND, save. There we go. That's it. We made it, everybody. Good job. I am proud of you. We can navigate all the way back here. You can copy paste this actually over. So let's do that really quickly. Let's go here to the footer. I'm gonna grab the footer and just go to all of the different ones. Oh my goodness. Let's scroll here above the body, paste that in. Let's go to the projects as well. Paste this in right above the body, hit save. Let's take a look. And there we go, we have our footer too. Oh my goodness. Congratulations, you have made it. So I'm proud of you. You have come a long way. We have learned a lot of different things. I still want to close up with 1 or 2 more sections, which is going to be to kind of talk a bit about optimizing code and finally deploying it on Netlify. So congratulations.